What do saber-toothed tigers have to do with getting more free time in your life? Well, it all comes down to the saber-toothed tiger effect, which is something that is hardwired into your brain. And the most important part is how you actually react to that hardwiring, because you have to make conscious choices to overcome this hardwired element in your brain so that you're able to get more done that gives you more free time. Here's what it comes down to. The saber-toothed tiger effect goes like this. When you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, that's not the time to be thinking about where you're going to get flowers to bring home to your honey. It's not the time to be thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner tonight. It's not the time to be imagining how to invent the wheel. It's one thing, and that is getting away from the saber-toothed tiger and saving your life. The problem is that in spite of the fact that saber-toothed tigers aren't around anymore and we rarely have to run for our lives, it's still hardwired into our brain. And so our challenge in our lives is to focus on, is to go against the brain's natural the natural instinct to focus on the new problem instead of the important one. Let me say that again. See if I can get this out. I can reverse it. So what we have to do is that our brain is designed to focus on the new problems that are given to us. If we want to get more done in our lives so that we get more free time in our lives, what we need to be doing is focusing on the important things in our lives instead of the new problem that's coming along. So let me give you a couple of examples of this. We tend to focus on the latest offer that we've received, an email or a new webinar or something we saw on YouTube or something like that. So where, if you're like me, I get 10, 12, 20 new offers every single day. And I can spend time and money going through those, deciding if they're right for me, filling FOMO on every one of them, trying to decide whether or not I should invest in this thing, because of course it's going away and will never be available again at any point in the future. And I could literally spend 2 or 3 hours every single day and several $100s every single day detracting me from the important things that need to happen in my life. Here's another one. And it's just another way of looking at it. Whatever feels urgent tends to draw our attention. So yes, if the house is burning down, if you've got a child who is standing there in tears, you need to go resolve that particular issue. But many times whatever feels urgent is actually not important. And part of what Stephen R. Covey teaches is focus on the things that are important but not urgent, so that they never become urgent. It's, as the example that he uses, it's putting oil in your engine now so that you don't have to put an engine in your car in a few months. The important but not urgent, when you do them at that stage, you never have to deal with many of the fire drills that come later on. So how do we go about doing this? Well, I'm going to give you a very specific thing that I find works for me. And that is this. I've come to realize that there's an opportunity to reset every single morning. So when I arrive at my desk, and a couple of days ago, I talked to you about this concept of list journaling and the first thing we do in the morning. And one of the key exercise that I like to do in the morning is that I like to sit down and say, what will move the ball farthest down the field today? In other words, what's the most important thing for me and my business and my goals for me to accomplish today? That becomes an important start of the day. that what's the most important thing for me to focus on today. And then what I end up doing is I look at my day at the beginning of the day, and I specifically make decisions to opt out of things that detract and distract me from accomplishing those important things. And so sometimes it's like, I'm not attending that webinar. I'm not attending that meeting. I'm not even going to look at my email for 3 hours, because as soon as I look at my email, then someone else is taking control of my time. Someone else is taking my attention. And so I am going to opt out of the distractions so that I only focus on the important things. And a lot of it comes down to this phrase: sorry, can't do that. Sometimes that sorry, can't do that today. Sometimes that sorry, can't do that this week. But most of the time it's sorry, can't do that. In other words, I'm never going to do that. And then at the end of the day, part of my end of the day is, how did I do on the most important tasks? So I rarely have a day where I sit down at the end of the day and I analyze my day, and I don't say, hey, I was busy all day long. That's just the way it works. We tend to be busy all day long. And so the key question is, was I busy doing the important things today or not? So let me just do an exercise here for just a moment. I invite you to go over to the comments, and I just realized my microphone's over there instead of in front of me, and so you've been getting bad sound, and I apologize for that. My bad. Okay, let's do a little exercise here. I want you to imagine that it's tomorrow morning right now. And what I'd like to invite you to do is to go over in the comments and write for me what is the most important thing for you to accomplish tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, okay, imagine it's tomorrow. Write for me, what is the most important thing that I need to accomplish, as if it is tomorrow. This starts that process. And then what you then do is, because that's the most important thing for me to accomplish, now what do I need to remove from my day so that I can accomplish that thing? And one of the most beautiful things about being an entrepreneur is that you don't have a boss who is controlling what you have to do, who's telling you what your priorities are. You get to choose those priorities. And because you get to choose those priorities, you get to choose what's not prioritized. But the important thing is, you need to make sure that you counteract your natural brain's tendency to focus on the new problem instead of the important one. That right there is what will give you more free time in your life, because you're getting the important things done as opposed to the inconsequential things done that you're probably doing right now. The more you do the more important things, the more it will free up your time to be able to do whatever it is that you really want to do. All right. So put that in the comments. Imagining it's tomorrow morning, what is the most important thing for me to do today? Put that in the comments. Love to see them. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.